Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, Stay Frosty Remastered, Deep Cuts, Black Powder and Brimstone, and Ashes Without Number. So we're talking a bunch of games and a bunch of game systems.
Surprise! We are talking about games?
It was either that or the Critical Role Christmas album. I was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Jesus, but we did. Jesus. I didn't need to know about that. You know that
it's as bad as you think, too.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear it. Enough about that. You know that meme like, well, if I had to hear about this, so do you. No, you don't. Let's just stop that right now. I had to hear about this, and I'm going to keep that pain to myself and be responsible and not spread it around. All right.
Yeah, because you may be a professional voice actor, but that doesn't mean you're a professional singer. Yeah,
No,
we'll leave it at that.
All right.
But yes, so good to see everybody in the chat. And we'll start with Stay Frosty Remastered. So I think we talked about Stay Frosty back in the day, but this is a Melsonian Arts Council production. Future Marines versus whatever the universe can throw at them. So yeah, basically Colonial Marines or the other Marines from the Bug movie.
Oh, the mobile infantry.
Yeah, the mobile infantry.
They're supposed to have giant suits, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And so a lot of Game Over Man in the, the playthrough of this. How could you not? Yes, so this is Benjamin Mara is releasing a kind of a new version, a remastered version, they're calling it, of this old school sci-fi TTRPG. And it's built loosely on top of the Black Hack.
Okay.
System. So it means 1d20 equal or above an attribute. Advantage and disadvantage are there. 4 attributes: brains, brawn, dexterity, willpower, and which are generated by 3d6. Lower is better. Then
right, because you got to roll over.
Yes. And 8 classes: MOS, armor, cyber, engineer, infantry, intelligence, medical, psyops, and special ops.
Brains, brawn, dexterity,
Psionics.
and willpower. Sorry, I'm looking at the attributes.
Oh, sure.
I'm just interested because there's no, I suppose there wouldn't be no social. Well,
Yeah.
no social.
Right.
It's not like you're going to talk to the bugs, so okay.
That's true. No negotiating. Yeah, so they go through in the description on the page what things give you what advances, but you can't be Spec Ops unless all of your stats are 10 or less. So don't roll too high on that 3d6.
That's very old school.
Yeah. And you roll your rank on a d6. 1 to 3, you're a private. 4 to 5, you're a sergeant. And 6, you're a lieutenant. And they use a supply dice system. And
is that kind of like a usage die where like rather than track bullets, you're just like, okay, we used it. If you roll a 1, the die switches down to the lower
it goes
type.
to a d4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, if you roll a 1 or a 2, it goes down to a d4. You roll a 1 or a 2, it's done.
No, I like that.
And they've got 9 psionic powers to push people around, make their brains bleed and all that good stuff. Okay. And you can point crawl between nodes, enter dangerous areas, linger too long, or rest in a dangerous place, and something always happens. So some kind of hex crawling, or point crawling. Mechanics, yes. So and they said the system is good for both campaign length or one shots with horror tinged bug hunts.
I do wonder how. Okay, I haven't read this. Mm-hmm. I wonder how a campaign would work out, because I'm thinking about like Alien, right? Okay, like a colonial marine campaign of Alien. Okay, you're gonna run into something that you're gonna have to fight. I wonder, is the campaign just a string of kind of combat things, right? Kind of like a Doom level, right? Like there is a campaign, but it's like you're here and now you got to go here and now you got to here, and maybe you get little pieces of information to some kind of overarching story, but.
And kind of leading to like a boss battle or something to resolve.
So I'm not passing any kind of judgment there. I'm just wondering if it's more that, like descending levels, or if it's somehow kind of like, okay, this mission is a non-combat mission, and how that would get handled.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of investigating. Yeah, right. So this backer kit campaign will also include distance chart, exclusive distance chart, and player tokens, so you can kind of keep track of everything. A frostiness tracker is also an exclusive, as well as a double-sided Stay Frosty poster. And of course, a t-shirt. It's backer kit. Come on. Of course, yeah. So a Stay Frosty t-shirt printed on organic cotton. Come on.
I hope it's like an ice blue.
Yes, I think it's yellow, actually. I think I saw from that. Yeah. So what you're going to get in this gorgeous hardback book. So the kind of remastered, so just more art too. So there's a bunch of artists too working on it. So illustrated by Andrew Walter, Benjamin Mara, Noah Brown, and the design is Shuyi Zhang. And so they're responsible for the remaster of this, a bloody gorgeous hardback book. So 2 full introductory adventures, rules for making your strike team absolute badasses, vehicles, flamers, psi powers, point crawling, random mission generator, bugs, demons, cyber demons, robo assassins, and zombies.
And cyber demon robo zombies.
Okay. Yes, so you're all set. So yeah, this new edition will have a starter adventure, then published expansions and errata all in this one book. So that's why they're remastering. The kind of everything that's come up with bug fixes and errata have all been included. 30 new pieces of art, new in-sewn hardback, and a third-party license to let people do their own commercial version, expansions of things. Super mega ultra pile of backer kit exclusives, and we talked about distance chart, frostiness tracker, t-shirts, custom dice. It's all there. So the basic pledge is £22. So I don't have the equivalents. Digital pledge is £12, and retail is $100. So easy peasy to get into. But it's nice to see there's been enough support for this. They thought they should go back and kind of wrap it all up into so now we have the Alien RPG. We have Mothership. We can do aliens, we can do Space Marines and Outgunned, and now Colonial Space Marines, and now we can play Stay Frosty and check which one can do.
Well, I was just you brought that up kind of as a joke, but I was just going to point that out, right? Like, if anything, this is proof that, you don't have to, don't not make something just because a similar version already exists.
Yeah, right.
All aliens, Outgunned, Mothership, and now Stay Frosty, they're all going to do the things completely, maybe not completely, but they're all going to do something different.
Yes, right.
They're all going to have strengths and weaknesses, and they're going to be better or worse for certain types of games. So they're all just kind of different because they're made by different people. So,
yeah.
Where was I going with that? Make your game even because something else already exists.
You're right. Yeah, don't worry that there's something else similar, because it's not you. You're going to handle it different. What you're going to come up with,
and it's just going to feel different, right? Okay, the dice pool system of Alien, I think Mothership is roll over D20. Outgunned is the matches, and Stay Frosty is roll under. Those are all going to have a different feel just because they have a different mechanic.
Right. Yeah, no, that's very true. And a nice note to see. Oh, yeah, so they have an official Discord server if you want to keep up with the updates. And a nice note on their backer kit page. Everything is handmade. No AI generation is used, text or art. Robots are for shooting, not cahooting.
I like it.
All right.
So I suppose that could be interpreted as you give a robot a gun. Robots are for shooting. Robots are for shooting.
You equip your robots. Yes. All right, so on to the next game. It's a lot of great games. So this is actually a surprise.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, just kind of jumped out of nowhere. So Blades in the Dark gets its first official expansion. So first published in 2017. Yeah, so
I did not kind of realize it was that old.
Yeah.
And I still haven't read the complete book.
So Blades in the Dark, its first official expansion by the creator John Harper. So this is called Deep Cuts. So Blades in the Dark Deep Cuts will give you new factions, new mechanics, and new background options. So it's going to be split into 2 parts. First will be new setting options with 27 factions, 100 heritage and background options, and 13 new innovations in technology for the setting. And then the second part will add 6 modular rule systems, including harm and trauma rules, modified advancement rules, and a new action system. So
it's kind of a split between more setting stuff and more mechanic stuff.
Yeah, and it seems like he wants to let you, since they're calling it modular, let you add and not use things that change. And the comments got very interesting. People are trying to break down these rule changes. And it does seem like it could almost be a second edition of the game, but I think making it modular allows people to add or not add anything. If they're already playing the game and they're happy with it, you don't have to put anything in. So yes, you build your crew of scoundrels and perform various heists and jobs. So a pool-based dice system to resolve your checks and clocks to move forward with complications and deadlines. So Blades in the Dark helps to spawn the Forged in the Dark game system. Which wonderful games like Candela Obscura use, but a lot of other games do. Did the Sprawl, is that
No, that's Powered by the Apocalypse.
That's Powered by the Apocalypse, because I remember clocks. Yeah, I remember there were clocks.
Yeah, clock. I mean, okay. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not a TTRPG historian, which could actually be a real job. I'm pretty sure that Blades in the Dark did not kind of create clocks. Those already existed in Apocalypse World, like way back in 2015, right? And that's not to say like they might even have existed further back than that, right? Kind of like it's a way to track progress on a multi-stage job. Right?
Nice. Yeah, that's right. And because they even make reference to kind of Powered by the Apocalypse rules, so that may have been what inspired Blades in the Dark.
I think the currently kickstarting game Argonaut, which is stylized as Argo-0, is forged in the dark.
Okay.
And I backed that because it looked pretty interesting. It's supposed to be like 1980 cartoon mashup with like anime kind of stuff in a very Greek-inspired space campaign, right?
Nice.
Hence Argonaut. Right.
Right. Oh, cool. Very cool. But so the comments underneath. So this is on itch.io right now, and of course the first thing people ask is, where can I get the physical copy, a hardback edition? It's like no.
Oh,
really? Which I think is a good move, and it kind of brings up an interesting point. As much as we're like kind of squirming at what Wizards of the Coast is doing by pushing everybody digital, this allows a small creator to update rules to a popular existing game system without going through. He doesn't have to crowdfund. He doesn't have to go through the expense. He said, "Hey, look, these are the rules. This is what I wanted to do with the game. Here's my new version. Here's new additions to the game," and doesn't have to be the whole thing where you're waiting a year for physical books to come out. So that freedom and that immediate access is pretty great. But it's funny because I don't feel like that about D&D. I'm disgusted.
No, it is kind of funny. I think I don't know. I haven't bought this. I might. I might not, given the fact I haven't read Blades in the Dark completely, right? But based on the Blades in the Dark book, which I have, it's a nice book, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's often driving, or I would feel that's what's driving the physical version, right? Because physical versions for some people are just easier to flip through at the table, easier to read, right?
Yeah.
So, and I am hoping for a hardback, or at least a physical version of this, because I would get it.
Yeah, and print on demand. It's not the nicest, the best quality, but yeah, it is a way to make it physical. So some kind of comments underneath this release. So John Harper kind of changed the DNA of Blades in the Dark. So this is kind of a 2E edition. One of the commenters says. So there's a bunch of lore as added to the game, and tinkers with a bunch of the rules systems. So, for example, the original Blades in the Dark, player characters made action rolls, the GM establishing position and effect. Then success or not would create some kinds of consequences. Now the action roll is replaced by a threat roll. So players roll, if you roll to see if the players roll a sufficient amount to deal with any threat. They roll one die for each action, dot on their action, and look for the highest, and then you can add dice to your pool for additional threat and assign the die result to each thing that you're facing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so it's changing the mechanics, and I think obviously making that modular. So if you don't like how that's working, then don't do it. So you can also assign a fail threat. For rare, it was a much more rare and special thing. Any threat that is not dealt with will then result in effects and consequences. And there will are 4 levels of impact, ranging from limited to extreme. Everything from harm to progress clocks and narrative developments can be triggered by this. So a lot of long-term players are saying, "Whoa, wait a minute!"
But okay,
yes,
I'm gonna have to go pick this up.
No, I got you.
You got me.
Yes,
right. I probably would have picked it up anyway because I like John Harper's design stuff, and I was following them like before they came out with Blades in the Dark and saw kind of like the previous game that led to this. But anyway, I have to think, or I have to feel that he made it very clear that these are optional modules you can plug in.
Yes, right.
So people complaining, "Oh, this is too easy." No, it isn't. It's like additional material that, okay, going from the action roll where you, the character, are being proactive, let's see how well you do, higher means better, versus, okay, this is the threat roll. We're going to build it based on how kind of establish how dangerous this thing is, and this is how well you deal with what's already happening.
Right.
That change really changes the tone of the game from proactive characters to kind of more reactive characters. So I can see this like it's a module. You go from active heisty characters to more the world is real and dangerous. You're reacting to all the stuff that's coming at you, right? So it's a very different type of game. You don't have to use it, right? Is what I'm picking up.
And allowing the players to decide what they resolve can kind of match their role play a little bit more. So I know I could slip past him. I could pick this lock. I don't think I could talk the guard, talk my way past this guard. So let me fail. Let me assign my lowest score and fail that.
Or I like that. Or as someone who's a big fan of, I'm blanking on what you call it, where it's like limited resources to face kind of a threat. You're like, it's that tough choice of, oh man, one of these is going to resolve.
Right.
Which one is it going to be, right? I like those choices. So
yeah. So the complaint that this leaves behind the simulationist vibe of the action role for a more narrative approach. Yeah, people saying, it's different. It's a change. So there's more fate language in the conflict rules with harm levels and trauma conditions, and they're also saying this to some degree the hard move that GMs made in the Apocalypse World engine games on a 6 or less has been added back into the Blade rules now. Okay. So yeah, interesting. So advancement is also way slowed down in this new version. So the PCs won't get super good at avoiding bad stuff, which I think fits with assigning just accepting different threat, and codifying the best practices for 10 years of so he's saying 10 years of gameplay. This is the best practices and what he wants to see in the system. And of course, everybody in the comments, isn't this a different game? Come on,
yes,
dude.
it is.
Deal with it.
None of which you have to use.
Right. So I'll put a link to the itch.io page. It's only $10. So $10, and you can get the complete bundle of everything released for Blades in the Dark for $27. So get original. I think it's both games. Yep. So $27 gets you both. And this is a 118-page expansion, so it's quite a bit. Yeah. So a trove of
6 by. Yeah. No, I don't know if it's 6 by 9.
Oh,
it might be 6 by 9. Yep.
Right. And so a lot of additional stuff. So yeah, if you are interested, it's well worth checking out. Read through the comments just to see, like, if you've already played it. Yeah. But some people, they're established as saying, I'm seriously played this game for all this time, and so opinions are it's really interesting how people, and it's not all grumbling and complaining. Okay. It's nice analysis, and people are saying, this I would definitely want this, maybe not so much. So it'll give you, and for $10, it's definitely worth checking it out. And John Harper replied directly to one of the comments and said, "No plans for that at the moment," meaning physical books. Yep. Yes. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait for that. But of course, you could always send the PDF to Lulu yourself and privately produce your own personal copy. That's always an option when people release PDFs. Although if the PDF isn't optimized for printing, it's going to get weird. The margins and stuff are going to get weird. And on to our next game.
Yeah. Games galore, this one.
Yes, so Free League has announced Black Powder and Brimstone. So this is a new RPG compatible with the Mork Borg RPG. That's why Free League is releasing it. So we're going to get this hit retail, and I imagine that this is a typo. March 18th, 2025, I imagine, unless it's been out for several months. But what we're doing in Black Powder and Brimstone is you take on the roles of desperate adventurers stuck in the middle of a conflict, and you're trying to survive or possibly profit. So it's a standalone game laden with gunpowder and witchcraft. So action-packed, rules-light gothic horror and swashbuckling. So you can wield powerful weapons and magic that warp reality, with tons of character options, items, locations, adventures, and enemies to encounter. And really nice illustration. And the designer and the illustrator are the same person. So that was cool to see. That's pretty impressive if you can pull that off, to not only design your own game, but illustrate it beautifully. So that is Benjamin Tobit is the creator, the designer, and illustrator. Complete standalone. Let's see. So an art-heavy old-school game. So I like the swashbuckling adventure and gothic folk horror in an unholy blend. So lots of information for a setting, and of course the very easy to use Mork Borg mechanics.
I'm honestly getting about borged out.
You're getting bored.
Sorry.
We got all borged out. Yeah, we haven't even gotten in all the cyborg stuff
No,
yet.
I haven't. I mean, like, okay, Mork Borg, cyborg.
Pirate Borg.
It was funny, and then it's like Pirate Borg, and you're like, okay, nothing but against the game. You're just like,
okay,
there's no Borg in Pirate, right?
Right.
Like, right?
Yes, and there's tons of Borg titles
There
now
is.
for content. But it looks really nice. I mean, it's art heavy is nice. But it's not the same aesthetic. It's the book itself is a cleaner layout.
Like you can actually read and use?
Yeah, maybe more usable layout. So not so like illustrator designer, graphic designer heavy, but really nice illustrations that are evocative of this setting, like a witchcraft and swashbuckling setting. So definitely check that out. It'll retail for $49.99, and
So I'm imagining like a fairly large hardback book.
yes, I think it's going to be they don't talk about page count, and we'll get more details
The closer we get.
closer we get. And it doesn't look like it's going to crowdfunding or anything. It's just a release.
Well,
so that's
okay,
that's nice to
then
see.
more respect for them if they're not going to crowdfund it. Just we're pretty convinced this game is going to
Yeah.
do well.
Right. Yeah, that means Free League. Yeah, Free League likes what they see. All right, and one more, another. And so these are some pretty big designers that have pretty established stuff going
I'm
on.
not on there, why?
Yeah, so we got another Kevin Crawford. Oh yeah, you're at the you're coming
I'm
up.
at the end. I'm a little footnote, a little tiny little blurb, right?
Yes. So Ashes Without Number. So a new old school post-apocalyptic RPG. So the Kevin Crawford's Without Number series gets another one. And I'm always really conflicted about these because these are really useful books, but they're outside of America. There is no good way to get these.
Right.
It's really, really difficult because this is a Kickstarter, and they're already raised over $200,000. So obviously people are into it. And what's nice is these are great toolkits. So even if you don't want to play this style of game, the world building, like, tables and mechanics that are presented for each of these genres, each of these settings, is great. Great to use for, for your another game system and your own setting. So a post-apocalyptic adventure, a desolate world full of lost grandeur. So it's of course, the Without Number games are kind of old school, easy to pick up D20, 2D6 based games. More streamlined, of course, than the greatest role-playing, not
What
the
isn't?
best, yes. And so they so more streamlined, and so you're basically, this will allow you to set up the world and characters and just kind of turn them loose in kind of a sandbox style. And a nice from this review, a nice thing that the writer said is, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend any of the Without Number games as a way to level up any of your RPGs, just based on the setting. And a quote from the page, Ashes Without Number is a tabletop role-playing game for the end of the world, whether as civil collapse, alien invasion, zombie uprising, or post-apocalyptic wasteland. The game is built to give the GM tools they need to carve out their own special slice of hell.
Unless it's actually about hell. Okay.
Yeah, right. And so this is the Sinomier Games. They're the publishing, the company that they use. So yeah, you're getting a. So of course, this is basically a genre-specific system toolkit. So you can scrap build. There's rules for scrap building gear, ancient technology, dangerous diseases, and zombies and wasteland marauders. And if you back the campaign, you'll get instant, immediate beta access to the in-development game. So the end can come with lead and warring banners. The end can come with plague and unquiet death. And the end can come with runes and misshapen flesh.
Gross.
So, yeah, choose your poison, literally. And so a lot of... so this is... I think... I'm not sure if this is the order, but the first one I was aware of was... Stars Without Number, and then which is the sci-fi setting, Worlds Without Number is the fantasy setting, and more recently Cities Without Number, the cyberpunk setting. Okay. And that was crowdfunded a few years ago, and that was the one I was just like, I've got the first two, and I'm just like, I can't, because I'm doing the print on demand. So there's a couple of options. So they do an offset print, sewn, beautiful hardcover of these books, but you got to be in North America.
Right.
So this system, just to reiterate the Without Number system, 6 attributes, hit points, saving throws, and the kind of traditional RPG elements are in the system. but you are free in like creating this campaign to like pick the one that feels correct in the setting that you want to play. Yeah. And the other thing that it said on the Kickstarter page that I liked is these books are built to be used, not simply read. So there are specific practical procedures, lists, and tables designed to give you straightforward methods of creating your content. So and then in the book, in the Ash's book, there is 3 specific kind of campaign genres: the mutant wasteland, zombie infested deadlands, and then a near future societal after the fall.
Oh, the last one's a bit close to home.
Yeah, right. whoa, maybe skip that.
Mutant Wasteland, okay. Right, let's play Thunder the Barbarian.
Right. Yeah, so similar to what we've been doing with Oathsworn, or Ironsworn, sorry. Ironsworn is, we're encountering things and then we're saying, okay, what kind of settlement is this? Yep. What's the deal? So you can roll things like there's buried treasure in a failed community and then find out, what that is as you're building things.
So doesn't have to be, but it lends itself to being procedurally generated.
Yeah, right. You could probably do that with tables as it is. Yeah, you could probably sandbox it and say, okay, here's what you're coming across. Yes, you can do that way.
The microscopic approach where you kind of like start small.
Oh, right, and kind of build out. And so you can get a DRM-free PDF of the final game with a freebie code that will add to your drive-through library. So I guess because it's a free, it's going to get around any DRM. I guess it might be watermarked though if it's drive-through.
If it's drive-through RPG, it probably is watermarked, which annoys me a little bit. But
right. And the Far Wanderer Pledge will give you a print-on-demand copy through drive-thru. So this is what I've gotten because the other way is just impossible. But it's an at-cost book, so there's not any markup, and it's usually under $30. Yeah. With the final one, print-on-demand, usually being around $80. So this is a good. Because remember their costs went up dramatically. Yeah. So if you're interested in the book at all, and you can only kind of really go in for the print on demand, this is a really good way to get a decent discount. Although they do occasionally go on sale. So the offset print book is going to be available only to the Neo-American backers, and it's going to be a Smithsonian binding with glued. Mm-hmm. Glued folios, bundled pages, folded over and sewn by in the spine. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be wonderful, and you can't get it outside of the U.S. And I guess I could, but then have it sent out to get to Japan. It's eventually going to be ridiculous. Yeah. So they're saying this. So digital awards, digital and print on demand are offered because the rise of international shipping has sadly curtailed the number of international destinations that they can ship to. So the books are carefully packed and going to be well shipped, but they just can't go everywhere that they need to go. So U.S. backers are fortunate in this, but you can beat the hell out of the print on demand and not feel bad about it. Right. Especially.
Well, I was just going to say like a sudden idea, like with the increase in international shipping, mm-hmm. and I'm sure it's only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. Right? I wonder if there would be a tier, or you wouldn't have to, or I wonder if designers would start saying, you know what, here are PDFs or files or whatever mm-hmm. intended for printing.
Oh,
right? Because okay, as graphic designer, as someone kind of working in print, you lay things out in a certain way, and mm-hmm. then you package it and send it off to the printer. That's often not the PDF that gets shared, right? The PDF that is the flattened kind of. That might be an option. Maybe not everything, right? Because then people would just reverse engineer it. But it'd be like at a certain price or at a certain tier, like,
interesting,
okay, here are the files, kind of optimized for a certain kind of print things. Find a local place to print it yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
To save on shipping.
And with enough interest, that might be interesting to set up. Okay, this is the UK company that's going to publish this book. This is the Japanese or Hong Kong or whatever whatever would be local to Asia, or I guess Australian. Yeah, it'd be English language.
Or just if there were enough kind of. That would, you have to do it on like a Discord or something, like enough regional people, right? Kind of interested in the thing, like, okay, I have an in with a printer, or at least I know of a printer locally. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How many people kind of want this thing, and
Yeah, and if they could do some kind of short run, and no, that's possible. It's just a shame, and this has been the case for these books for a while now, and so I always just I go on the print on demand cost at cost, because it's a good deal, but you're just not getting the full thing. They're really nice looking books. People have flipped through them like, oh no. But anyhow, so that is a lot of games to add to the list. Yes, but a lot of good stuff, and some surprises from established designers.
Yeah, wow. Let's see. That's 10 years for Blades in the Dark.
Yeah. Yes, so you've got some. So it's a real shame now that that Not Another Multiverse, that VTT, the pixel art VTT for Blades of the Dark, died, because it would be revitalized now. Like, there would be new people, headed there, and there'd be new incentive to, like, we've added the new mechanics in. So yeah, that's a shame. I can't believe all that work. I hope it's being hosted somewhere on a private server or something. Someone saved it, Yeah, because all of that work to create that whole world for Blades in the Dark, and then it just, didn't make money. Delete. Yeah, too bad.
Welcome to modern society. Modern capitalistic society. Did that make us shareholders money? No. Well, then it's dumped. Get out of here. Don't care.
Yeah, out of here. Yeah. We've been doing this pre-production for 4 years. Yeah, we canceled the project. Yeah.
Yep. And we wrote it off as tax.
Yeah. That's actually, it's a tax break for us, and it's too bad for you.
Don't understand how that works, but I hate it. Yep. Anyway.
So that will do it. So for interesting entries, a couple of crowdfunders and a couple of just releases. So $10 you can pick up.
It's funny. Like,
right away.
I saw that, and I kind of balked at the $10 price. Right. And as someone who tries to make games and makes PDF, it's like, that's a reasonable price for 168 pages, or like, it would be a reasonable price just because I like this designer and want to continue to support them what they do. And I still had that knee-jerk reaction of $10.
Yeah, that's just a PDF, but
$9.99. So not $9.99. It's weird that even I am not immune from that kind of thing, where the perceived value of a PDF is still much lower than it should be, right? Because the amount of work that went into producing the files to make that PDF, not that different, like a hair's off from making them for a print book. So why do I look at that and go, okay, sure, $29.99 or $30 for a book? Yeah, okay. Ooh, $10. Why?
Yeah, I feel frustrated about comics with that same way. Like a digital comic, I'm like, this has no value, but it's like, it's the same amount of work.
The only thing that they basically didn't do was hit print, right?
Yes, So it is really frustrating. But I think we've been really soured by that because of early ebook experience, like Amazon's price fixing and stuff with ebooks. I think it's really kind of distorted our thinking about digital and physical.
Probably.
And all of the, all you can eat, kind of like subscriptions that give you unlimited access to libraries and stuff. It's really screwed up our thinking about the labor that goes into physical.
Probably now with the AI generated slot books that come out where you're 99 cents for this thing.
Yes. But that'll do it for this week. Where can people find you?
On Blue Sky, Instagram, select things on Facebook groups. It's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
More next gen, maybe?
No.
Oh, you're not doing that on social media?
Only because it kind of I wanted to do a review of every episode, but I figured that would be kind of boring. And also I've been doing 2 or 3 episodes a night. Depending on how but I might do that again. Right? It's either that, or I've been going back to just reading portable war games or ancient war games, but nothing really to share. Hopefully that'll change soon.
Cool.
But, how about you?
Good. I am going to be doing a November stream. I don't know, Thanksgiving related. So for my single panel gag cartoon, so abuse cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. So subscribe to one of those and get notified when the live stream goes. And I draw the whole month's worth of cartoons and eat a bunch of stuff from Japanese convenience stores, which there's not going to really be anything. I guess it'll start being the winter flavors of things are going to start coming out. Hot sweet potatoes. I don't know. I guess sweet potatoes have been out since the fall. Yeah. So, but we will see. We'll see what I can find. I still have a few leftovers from Halloween too. So I have some little gummies that look like brains and stuff. So yeah, we'll get into that. And if you like what we're doing here, though, on the weekly, please consider becoming a weakling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You could do that on patreon.com/upturntable. And just let us know what you want to see more of. If you like hearing about a bunch of new games, or you'd rather complain about Wizards
AI?
of the Coast or Games Workshop, whatever floats your boat, let us know. And feel free to drop us links to stories and stuff that you found interesting concerning tabletop or board gaming.
Yep.
And yes, upturntable.com is where you can find everything that we're up to. We tried to record a session of Zone Wars. So Nick was here,
Cool.
and we did multi-camera. I don't know.
Wow,
We're gonna try to So I'll put a link. Whoever gets it done first, as far as like editing it, it sounds pretty good. Looks pretty good, but I don't know how it's going to go together because it was like we just kind of improvised a setup. But so it'll either be on the Zombie Sashimi YouTube channel or Upturned Table or both. I don't know. But it's fun as hell. And once we turned the cameras on, we just played the game, no like screwing around. And because we had played it before, it went pretty quick. It was nice to see like a game, you just get through it. You're not like, oh wait, I'll be right back. And so it's like when you really get focused and the cameras and mics are on and you're playing the game.
It's almost like you're professionals.
Yeah, right. I was surprised like how smooth it went. But that game's so fun because it's got really random effects and things that are going on in the zone. So it swings things really far. It was like I looked like I was like falling apart, and then the world changed, and all of a sudden things were totally turned around.
I'm gonna have to see that because sometimes you want a game to play out like, okay, I know what's going to happen, but then if it's too much of that, you're like, why am I playing this? Right. We're done. Versus like, okay, things are completely random and I can't really predict what's going to happen, but that keeps things kind of interesting until the end. Right.
Yeah. And the scenarios kind of either lean into that or kind of do make it more strategic, where the attacker and defender or the caravan kind of stuff or whatever. Or some of them are like, monster apocalypse. So basically all the creatures in the zone are just coming after you, and it helps build, so similar to like, Frostgrave, where you're just like picking up things and getting off the table, it has that dynamic as well.
Nice. Ooh, I just saw.
Yes.
Hodag RPG is in the chat. The illustrator for Brighthammer.
Oh, excellent.
Hey, Hodag.
Excellent. Yes. Oh, yeah. So there's a link to Chris's itch.io. One of the designers and games we're mentioning this week. And yes, so feel free to check that out. Yeah, we haven't played. And you need where's the cyberpunk setting?
I haven't even played it.
So you're going to do that. Where's the cyberpunk or perhaps the post-apocalyptic?
You know what? Funny. Like I was just thinking, like from watching Star Trek Next Generation, I'm like, okay, how would you do a ship with the 4 stats I've used for Brighthammer? Like, what would those mean? If you translated it over to a ship, because using a ship as the character is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
so I've kind of been thinking about that, and I always get stuck on influence, where I'm just like, what the heck would influence do, or what would it be? Because when it's people, it's how well you interact with people and how you kind of like sway them to do things. And I'm like, what would that be for a ship? Like sensors, or like being able to kind of project them. That's where I get kind of stuck.
Interesting. Anyway,
I'll think of something.
Yeah, very cool. Yep. All right, so that will do it for this week. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.